This series will be about everything I have learnt from my childhood, from my parents' tips and tricks, and how it has evolved into my adult life on making sensible decisions with finance and money. With that said, my name's Alex, welcome to my channel. Let's start with lesson number 1, and that is emergency funds. Now, an emergency fund is exactly what it says on the tin. It's for emergencies. If you lose your job, if something comes up, such as a boiler breaking down in your house, if your car needs repairing, if there's a family matter or a health problem you need to attend to, then this is a pot of money that you have that you can access easily and quickly in an emergency. Therefore, also an emergency fund is set up for you to live on for a short to medium length of time. Let me try to put across how important it is to understand all the outgoings and incomings and keep track of them each month into your account. The number one lesson I have learned is to pay yourself first. This means budgeting each month to allocate all the essential and non-essential spending. Looking at your income in the form of a payslip or otherwise is relatively simple. It's just understanding how much is spent on everything else. Therefore, an excellent start would be to note down everything that comes out of your account each month and all the bills and payments that you have to pay. These are things such as rent and mortgage, utilities, gas, water, electricity, broadband, council tax, insurances, car insurance, health insurance, home insurances, and also any phone bills that you have to pay. Also include any debts, any credit card payments, student loans that you have to pay each month. What's important to understand as well in an emergency fund is how much you spend on groceries for a basic month in order for you to live comfortably. Totaling all of this up, this is the absolute minimum that you will spend with or without an income. As a general rule, this figure should now be multiplied by 3, 6 or 9 to understand your emergency fund. Typical emergency fund can vary between, as I said, 3 months or even 2 years, depending on your circumstances. And it also depends on how much cash you're willing to save and keep on hand. Now let's talk about storing that money somewhere. Typically the best method is to keep it in a high interest savings account, which is obviously not easy to come by nowadays. For me myself personally, I use premium bonds in which you're entered into a prize draw each month with a chance to win up to £1 million. This typically offers a better interest rate than most high street banks these days. And as it is backed by the government, it's a safe and secure way of holding your finances. You can put as little in as £25 and as up to £50,000. There are of course typical normal bank accounts you can sign up for and use things and features like pots, and also interest is earned. I will link down below a useful website I use often, the money saving expert Martin Lewis, who will help you look through the best bank accounts for your situation. Also worth noting, there's no real limit on how many debit accounts you can open. So if you have a pot for an emergency fund, you might also have a pot for travel, or a pot for bills, or a separate account for all of these. But just to make sure as well, before you sign up to all of these debit accounts, there is a credit check that takes place, so be warned. An emergency fund is absolutely essential as the foundation of everyone's investment journey, as I'll follow up in several videos with the remaining steps on how you get onto a more financially educated life. Having the emergency fund there and accessible is important because the rest of the steps involve locking your money away and using it later in life. It also reduces the chances of you having to sell any of your investments or any of your belongings or having to get loans out. Therefore, I feel emergency funds are very, very useful. Today's a pretty short video, but I'll post more in the upcoming weeks and months to go into more depth on how to start investing. Very basically, at the very start, you need to start with an emergency fund, and also to bring you up to speed on the fundamentals of financial education and how retiring at 67, 70 years old is potentially a thing of the past, and it can be achieved a lot sooner with the right mindset, actions and decisions. So with that said, thanks for watching. Please like this video as it greatly helps out my channel. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.